Happy Monday, y'all. Right now we're in Times Square. I'm about to go to the Beyond Babel NYC auditions right now. I'm going to be giving you guys an inside look on what it's like auditioning for an off-Broadway show, specifically for Beyond Babel, happening in January of 2020. Cool, so let's get it moving. Peace. So I'm back home. It's actually been a few days since the Beyond Babel audition. It happened on Monday and today is Wednesday. I needed some time to really reflect on it and really think about it, but now we're home and I'm gonna let you guys know on how the process just went down. And if you haven't been caught up with what I've been up to, be sure to check out this video right over here first, just so you know how we got here and what I'm up to and what I'm doing and why, all that good stuff. Anyways, let's get into it. This is my experience with auditioning for an off-Broadway show, specifically for Beyond Babel NYC. So the first part of the process was actually submitting an online application. That included just like the basic logistic information like your name, your phone number, your resume, and your headshot. But the most important question on the application was asking, why do you want to be a dancer for Beyond Babel? And not to go too deep into my own application, but essentially what I said was that I was ready. I've been putting in the work, I've been taking all these classes, doing all these different experiences. Like, I felt and currently do feel like I'm just ready for the next thing. So thankfully I got an email back a few days later after I submitted the application saying that I was good to go and confirmed to be invited to the actual audition, which happened on Monday. After getting that confirmation, it was really all about mental prep at that point. It's not like you can really learn so many things in that many, days leading up to the audition. So it was really just mental prep, feeling good about what I know now, and just feeling again like I'm ready to do the audition, to go out and just do my best. While at the same time making sure all the, small logistical things out of the way, like having my headshot ready and my resume and my outfit for the day, all of that just set aside, packed, and good to go. So on to the day of. I woke up at around 7:30 on Monday to, get dressed, get ready, do my morning face routine and everything, to really be awake and be in the zone and be ready. And so I got dressed, I left my house around, 8:30-ish, to take the train from my town over down into Manhattan, about like a 30-minute train ride going express. And the whole time I didn't eat breakfast, so all I was thinking about was really being in the mood for a bacon, egg, and cheese in the morning. And I was talking to Alex about it and like looking up all the reviews on bacon, egg, and cheeses, because I never actually bought a bacon, egg, and cheese in Manhattan before. And so after like scrolling through and like looking for bacon, egg, and cheese to just eat in the morning, I ended up finding out that Shake Shack actually has their own bacon, egg, and cheese. And, I'm thinking like that's mad weird. Like, there is still a chain. How could they make a bacon, egg, and cheese? But I was reading those reviews and they weren't bad. So after pulling up into Grand Central Station, there's a Shake Shack in there, and out of curiosity, I just bought one, and it was alright. Like, honestly, it was just straight up a bacon cheeseburger without a burger. It was a bacon, egg, and cheese. Oh, okay. It was bacon, egg, and American cheese in a hamburger bun. Like, a hamburger bun. I'm probably not gonna get another bacon, egg, and cheese from there ever again, but like, I tried it. So, and I started my way over. That's the footage that I got from before earlier this video, walking my way over, and also dropping my mic sock that's on this camera, just dropping it somewhere in Times Square along the way, probably just getting swooped up by the cars that were passing by. I have no idea. It's gone forever. Rip my mic sock. So yeah, after losing my mic sock and just forgetting about it essentially, I just made my way over to the studio over at Open Jar. It's actually the same studio that Sandbox is in right now. It's right in the heart of Times Square. Super accessible, super new, super nice. Definitely one of my favorites right now. But first thing that happened when I walked into the building and went up the elevator was just seeing like everyone and their moms from the community showing up. And it was just a really dope sight to see, no lie. There was a lot of, you know, familiar faces in the community, a lot of people that I took class from when I started, and also a lot of people that even have taken my class that were there. And it was just this cool combination of past, present, and future with all these new faces, familiar, unfamiliar, old faces, like, it was really dope to see. So after this big check-in line of about, you know, 110 plus people, we made our way inside the studio. Everyone's, you know, warming up, saying hi to each other, just making our mornings more comfortable. Even at the start of the day, even though it was an audition, already the vibe was totally different because now it was a bunch of community heads and trying to, you know, book this new gig, trying to do this together, and it was just really cool to just see all that happening and just the supportive vibe that was happening as opposed to the usual kind of like cutthroat nature of auditions here in New York. So officially to start the day, Keone Mari, Lindsay and Josh from Hideaway Circus, they started off the day with just a little pep talk essentially, bringing everyone together, breaking down what we'd be doing that day. And for me, even the way it started was really dope because Keone started with this message saying that, you know, the tone of the auditions will match the tone of the show, right? Like, it doesn't need to be super cutthroat, it doesn't need to be super crazy. The auditions should feel supportive, they should feel like community nonetheless, they should push each other, and that vibe will carry into the show itself, into the cast. It was just really funny also because he was holding like Numa, their new kid, like in his hands, in his arms like a basketball while he was talking. And so I was like, yeah, I was listening to Keone, but at the same time I was like looking at Numa, and she was just looking like literally holding like this, like under his arm, looking like a basketball with limbs, you know what I'm saying? And then he had like holding Numa's hand at the same time, and as he was emphasizing things, it was like using Numa's hand to talk, and it was really cute. It was really funny. She's adorable. But after that pep talk, we, you know, regathered ourselves, got ready, and we just jumped right in. So the very first thing that we actually learned in the day was one of Keone's combos. It was fast, it was dense, had a lot of polyrhythms, typical Keone stuff, to BH. And after learning about 30 minutes of this combo, we split it up into smaller groups of, let's say, I think 5 and 6. Did it twice, switched lines, had a little freestyle in the middle of the section to just be yourself. Had a bit of freestyle at the end also to also be yourself. It was definitely just testing a lot of technical skill and personality at the same time. So after group, you know, groups of 5, 6, going and going and going, all 110 plus people, we all finished up. And after about, you know, 10, 15 minutes-ish, then they got out their list of the first names that would be sticking around. And like many and most auditions, whenever they make these cuts, they're not really cuts. It's more like trying to dig into this list of people that they really just want to learn more of. To me, I feel like it's the casting director's role to just understand everyone in the room, to understand them as much as they can so that when they pull it back and start discussing it, they can actually make a decision that makes sense and is a decision that they feel good about. So really, no matter where you are in the process, even if you get cut, it's never really the end of the line, no matter what. And I mean, sometimes you do just want a clear yes or a clear no. Am I cut? Am I going through? Am I not? Sometimes it's not like that. Usually there's a lot of gray area, and that's okay. What that really means is just don't give up. So about half the dancers remained after this list was called out, and on to step 2. So after about 5-10 minutes of, you know, gathering ourselves and taking a little break, Keone had us stand in height order. The girls on one side, height order, and the guys on the other side in height order. And then from there, he divided up into essentially like a short group, a medium group, a tall group, same on the girls' side, short, medium, tall. And yeah, then we represented the choreography again in those smaller groups. And after doing that combo again in those smaller groups, those new groups, we got split up again into groups of 3. A new group of 3 that would consist of blocking that was done by Mari, blocking done by Keone, and a blocking done by Liv. So in this new small group of 3, we learned this new piece. It was more focused around blocking and intention and performing. Definitely not so much choreography going on, a lot of improv, freestyling, and working together to create something really cohesive and that made sense, you know. And so we learned this new piece really quick with this new blocking that each of us had, each having our own role in the piece. And then we presented it one group at a time in front of them, each time, you know, trying something a little bit different, trying something new with the improv, trying to show a different side of yourself every single time, while still keeping it nice and cohesive and sensical. And just like that, even quicker than the first round, the next round with those groups of 3 was done. And so from there, a new list of names was called out, or rather a new list of numbers. This new list was gonna stay behind and, you know, keep going. And so in this group, what we did was we did both pieces over again, reviewing it because mind that hours are going by and none of us ate the entire day. So we're pushing out the gears here, but you know, we're pushing through. So we did both pieces again, the fast Keone piece and then that piece with the triplets. But now with that other piece that was meant for a group of 3, we were now doing it in a group of all girls, a group of all guys, and then finally a group all together, girls and guys combined. Yeah. And what was really cool for me to see was how all of that worked together, especially with that big girl-guy group. Just seeing how you could still improv and still freestyle on the spot. Even with this new blocking and staging that was meant for 3 people, you could still be a smart dancer and kind of, you know, feel it out and make something that was new and different and still make sense in the realm of the piece that was given. Now this next part gets kind of fuzzy for me because I honestly don't remember when certain lists are happening or when certain cuts are happening. I just remember that the group was getting smaller and smaller and the room kept looking bigger and bigger. But nonetheless, after all of this, we had this small group of people left, about, I would say like 10 to 20. It was definitely way less than the 110 that we started with, and apparently the 500 people that even submitted an application. So I was definitely feeling super thankful and super grateful for being able to stay that long at the audition. Giving myself props, feeling good that I know I was working hard to get to that point. And so now all the dancing was done, and now we were just waiting. We were waiting for these one-on-one interviews in the big room. They were in the small room in the corner, you know, all private and everything. And we were just gonna talk. And I mean, it was less of a one-on-one, it was more of like a one-on-4, because it was Keone Mari, Josh, and Lindsay. A one-on-5, if you count Numa, just sleeping. And yeah, if you know me, I already know Keone and Mari and Lindsay and Josh from, you know, working with them on Beyond Babel in San Diego and being a part of Building Block and everything, working on different events with them. It was honestly just really cool because this was, I guess, the first time that they've seen me in this sort of a light. You know, most of the work I do with them is graphics related, but now this was, you know, my time for like my main thing, you know, dance. And so I can't really go too deep into the conversation, but it was just a really nice exchange and a really nice time to just catch up, for sure. And so after all of us finished interviewing, you know, one-on-one, we finally got my first meal of the day. Second, I guess, if you include that bacon, egg, and cheese. And at that moment, I was just feeling really good, you know, like really, really good. And honestly, the reason I felt so good was less of because I was there for the entirety of the audition, but it was more because I just saw a different side of the community that I haven't seen before. It was seeing the community that I grew up with, as well as this new community coming up, the present coming up, being there, people from other communities also coming in and just vibing out. It was just like this totally different exchange that was just so cool to see at that level of just dance and performance and artistry. For me, it was like this one giant reunion just mixed in with an audition, mixed in with a labbing session, mixed in with everything. And I'm definitely excited for whatever's next with not just Beyond Babel and this audition, but with the trajectory of the community here in New York. I just know that it's on its way to being something that's just so different, so new. I already know that the community here is so dope and is filled with so many dope people and up and coming dancers that just want it so much. But just thinking about what is next, you know, is crazy. Because I really honestly do think that going into 2020, things in New York are gonna be nuts. And I'm gonna just speak it into the universe that 2020 is gonna be the year of this community. Just no doubt in my mind. It's just one perspective out of, you know, the hundreds of people that, you know, applied and saw the application, were actually at the audition. Just one perspective out of all the, you know, all the others. And of course, all auditions are different. You know, Beyond Babel is very specific. It's more urban dance oriented, less of musical theater, less of acting. It really has this, you know, performing arts factor with dance that's just so different. And so I'm sure the audition process was way different than, you know, maybe your typical off-Broadway audition. But you know, the only real way to know the differences and learn what's different between all of them is to really just go yourself. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for even more resources. I got a lot of new things lined up for you guys that I've been planning, so be sure to stick around. No doubt it's going to be a really good time. Leave a comment down below of your own personal audition experience for, you know, any audition, how it's gone so far, or if you have any questions for me about auditions in general. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, and of course be sure to check down the description below. I just added some new freebies and some new resources that are worth looking at, so check them out before you go. For most of them, all you gotta do is just drop your name and your email, and then you'll be set with a bunch of new resources that you never knew that you needed. And so that's it. Until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace, peace. Pen up.